Hello everyone, Nadezhda here, and today we are going to learn how to fix this annoying Revit scale problem. As you can see on my file, I have the scale as indicated here, and the reason for that is obviously I have the two views that have the different scales on them. If I had just one scale, then it wouldn't be a problem, but as you know, in Revit, once we introduce the view with different scale, it simply shows as indicated and it cannot work anymore. So to fix this problem, I go to the title block family, and here I basically have the default scale parameter inserted here in this title block. So I actually want to create the new parameter that will allow me to insert the scale by myself. Basically what I need for that is the shared parameter. So I go to the option manage and shared parameters. So I will create the new group and call it title block parameters. And click OK. And I will add the new parameter and I will call it, for example, dummy scale. Here I choose text instead of number, and you can call it anything you like, whatever actually works the best for you to instantly recognize this parameter. You should not only call it scale, like the default parameter, because that way you will be confusing it with the actual scale parameters. So just add it some name that you recognize. So click OK and OK once again. So here I have this default scale parameter, and I actually don't want to delete this one because I want to have it for the sheets where I actually have the one scale and where it actually can be read automatically. So I go to the create option and I choose label. And over this one, I'm just going to click and I'm going to create the new parameter. I click on the add parameter and here I choose select, and I will select my dummy scale. I click OK, OK once again, and now I have the dummy scale parameter and I can simply push it here. I can actually add it some prefix. For example, if my scale is always like 1, 2, I can add it as prefix, so that can be actually just instantly read and I can just fill the final numbers. So once I do this, I click OK and I just make sure that it's aligned well. So I simply align it with my existing parameter. I just get this to be a little bit smaller and I make sure that the horizontal align is at left. If I were to insert it now, it would obviously be a mess because it has this default scale below. So I want to actually make sure that I have the default scale for the sheets that actually have proper scale, that have one scale on a sheet, but I can use this only in the case where I actually need it in some sheets that have a couple of different scales. So in that case, I select my parameter, I click tab until I find my parameter in this entire jam. So I go to the visibility option and I click on this little rectangle and I create a new visibility parameter. I will also call it dummy scale visibility, and I will group it under the visibility option. And now I can either use type or instance. In this case, whatever you choose will be correct. If you choose type, you will have to duplicate this family type, and whenever you want to use this custom scale, you would then use that new family type. Or you can choose instance and do it separately in every sheet that has custom scale. In this case, I'm going to use instance, and now I'm going to click OK. I will click OK once again, and I will do the same for this default scale. I will simply hide this scale we have already done, and then I will go to this main scale, and I will also go to the visibility, and I will just call it scale visibility. For the name of these parameters, I make sure that name is something that I'm just instantly going to be able to recognize. So here I also choose the visibility and I will also choose the instance. And I click OK. and OK once again. And now I will go to the family types, and I have these two scales. So here I choose which I want to be my default one. So I will make sure that my main scale is the default one, and I will simply turn off this dummy scale. What this does is basically for all of these existing sheets, this dummy scale will not be visible, but we will have the ability of turning it on. So we click OK and we insert this sheet. We click override. Basically, when I go to some other sheet, for example this one, I have the scale which is correct, and I have that scale for all of the sheets. Basically, my dummy scale is not visible anywhere. But every time I have this situation, what I do is I select this title block and I have these two options. So in this case, I simply turn off the main scale visibility and I turn on the dummy scale. And I can see that I still cannot insert my scale. So I go to manage and I go to project parameters, and basically we need to insert this parameter to our main model as well and to assign it to the sheets. So I create the new parameter, and I will choose the shared parameter and select this parameter that we have created. I go to the title block parameters and I click OK. And here I find the sheets and I make sure that the instance option is selected so I can assign this value to each different scale. I click OK and OK once again, and now I can see that this parameter is now enabled, and I simply insert 100, and now we get this option of scale 100, and I can also just add the comma and add 200. So this way we can actually show that we have two different scales here, or you can simply get rid of the prefix. I go back to the dummy scale label, I click edit on the label option, and I just get rid of the prefix if I don't want it. So I go to the load project and I simply here insert 1, 2, 1, 2 and 1, 2. And this way we have fixed this. Basically, if I go to some other sheet, I can see that here I actually have the automatic reading of the scale, because here default scale is enabled, and wherever I have this situation where I have two or more scales, I can simply activate our parameter. This is it for this lesson. Hope I was able to help you. If you like my videos, like and subscribe. And if you have any questions about this, post in the comments below. And thank you for watching, and see you in the next lesson. Bye! If you want to learn Revit like a pro, take a look at my architectural course through the link below. You will learn how to develop the project from concept to final design using Autodesk Revit. It is ideal for beginners, but valuable for anyone looking to build a solid foundation. By the end, you'll know how to take a design from concept to detailed documentation with confidence and clarity. You will gain a solid Revit workflow you can actually use independently or in work in larger teams in architectural studios. With almost 100 structured video lessons, it is designed to help beginners master Revit step by step. To support your progress, I've included assignments with each lesson, plus the opportunity to ask questions and receive guidance directly from me whenever you need it. This way, you're not just watching tutorials, you're actively learning, practicing, and improving every step of the way. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.